Hi, long time no see. This took me a long time to edit, mostly because I got super busy in January. How are you all doing? If you are watching this video, what have you read in January so far? I mean, what was the best book you read in January so far? That sounds like something I would want to know. Today, this is my award ceremony video. I did this last year and I had a lot of fun doing it, so I did it again this year. But it took me so long to edit it because my life just like, I'm fine. Everything in my life is fine. But a lot of the people in my life had a lot of things happen and I needed to help them. And so I got very busy. But it's okay. Things finally settled down and I was able to edit the video. And now you're watching it. Now you're seeing it. So yeah, I have a bunch of categories. A bunch of categories. So if you go into like the about section, I have everything like time stamped off so you can just click to where you want to see. I think it would be too much otherwise if you're like you're only interested in one thing, you know? Going forward into the year, I am continuing my TBR with a twist project. I pulled them at the beginning of my video recording for this award ceremony, so I don't have any evidence that I've done it, but that'll be up soon. I think that'll be up beginning of February. I'm hoping because I'm almost done with one of the books, but I had to read other books in the meantime. My book club has started again. We read River of Teeth by Sarah Gailey and had a fun time with it, and now we're currently reading The Dead Cattail Assassins by P. Jelly Clark. Both of those videos are probably needing to be uploaded by the time you watch this video. Hopefully they're uploaded. What say you, future trips? Are they uploaded? I don't know. Anyway, thank you for watching this and have fun. Like and subscribe if you had a good time. Enjoy! Welcome to the Trip Star Lake 2025 Book Awards. This is more like a superlative awards ceremony where it's like best book, worst book, book that gave me brain damage, etc. That's not actually an award. I have a lot to talk about. I have a lot of things to praise. I have quite several things to give my gripes about, to give gripes on. I don't know the verbiage on that. All these books that are here have won an award. Some of them are positive awards, some of them are not. We'll have to see. You'll just have to keep watching to know. So before I get into the award ceremony, I'm going to talk about some stats. I think I just need to disappear for stats. Yeah, because they're like, yeah. Okay, so with my stats, I read about 50 books. It's like 49 or 50. I'm just rounding it up to 50 because, like, does it count that I read the name, like, 100, like, what did I read? Like, 300 pages of The Name of the Wind, but I didn't finish the book? Like, no. But yeah. So whatever. It's here now. I read about 20 physical novels, 12 graphic novels, so like manga, manhwa, webtoons, whatever. And I read I listened to 9 audiobooks and I read 4 visual novels. This is like my reading scope this year. I read like everything I read was so much better than last year. Last year, my reading rating average was like a 3.2 or 3.1, which is not great. It means that I had a lot of 3 stars, a lot of 2.5 stars, which just wasn't super awesome. And I honestly found that this year, my reading was a lot better because I wasn't controlling what I was reading, because I was just pulling like half of the books I read, I just pulled out of a box, like a literal box, and I read whatever the box gave me. I wasn't as mad when I didn't like the book as much because I wasn't the one actively choosing it. I was just pulling it out of, it was like more RNG choosing for me. And also because I didn't have as much time to read whatever I ever could have wanted, I was much more choosy with what I read outside of that. My TBR with a twist challenge, which helped actually. So I actually think once I'm done with this TBR challenge, I want to do something similar, but I'm not sure what I'm going to do. We'll see. Moving on. So, oh yeah. So I have these things here. It's kind of confusing. So I read like 50 books, but I only read 39 genres. It's like, it's fine. I got this from my reading, my year in reading. It's like something that one person makes, so it's not like 100% perfect, but basically I read mostly fantasy, science fiction, and romance. Young adult isn't a genre to me, but whatever. I did read some mystery. I read a lot of gay books. I read some horror, some humor, and some historical fiction. But as usual, this is the same as last year. I read fantasy, science fiction, romance in that order. So not too much change, and I didn't expect that to be really any different because most of the books that I got that were in the TBR bucket, the box, they are fantasy books. And most of the books that I read on my own end up being fantasy books anyway. So that was as to be expected. Oh yeah, I have a reading map tracked like where I was reading just because I thought it would be fun. And the green is the most read, and red is the least read, but like the white is like I didn't read there. It's not the best map ever, but it serves its purpose. So I read mostly from the United States, but I also read a lot in Japan. I think I read 11 things from Japan, but like because it's in the middle, like it looks like it's like nothing. It's kind of funny. So I read from United States, Japan, United Kingdom, and South Korea, but I read one book also written from someone from Nigeria, Ireland, Pakistan, Cambodia, and Argentina. And honestly, I just thought it was neat to show because most of the time because I am from the United States, I live in the United States, the books that are marketed to me are generally written by people that live in the United States. So that's usually the only the only country I have, so the fact that I have at least a few others makes me feel like yay. Just a little bit yay. Okay, here's a few other stats that I have that I thought were fun. I read 37% diverse. By diverse I just mean that white people weren't like the only beings in the story, or the book was not about white people. And I read 55% gay. Like over half the books that I read had some sort of queer LGBT theming in it, which is pretty normal for me. The 37% diverse is pretty good, actually. I only read about 30% diverse books last year, so the 7% increase feels pretty cool to me. And the fact that I did that despite, not having control over what I read for a lot of this year, it feels pretty great. I got like my reading aura. My reading aura is apparently cozy, fantastical, sanctuary, comfort, but it's also I'm a thrill reader. I want to explore stories filled with real, fantastical peril. I am a literary thrill seeker. Every new story is an action-packed escape into a new realm. I don't really think that's very accurate. The cozy, fantastical, sanctuary, comfort feels more accurate. And you can get your aura if you go to, I'll actually just share the link to it. If you have a Goodreads and you actively update it, you can get the reader aura. Otherwise, you'll have to update your Goodreads account because it's not run by Goodreads, but the person uses Goodreads to do it because they are one person doing their best. But it was really neat, and I think the little graphics they make are really nice if you want to like go through with it. Fable also, this pink one is from Fable. It's a Goodreads alternative. I actually like this. I've been using Fable in the past year, in 2025, and I found it to be quite better at engaging with community and also like reading reviews of value, I guess, which sounds awful, but the way they sort the reviews is a lot better than Goodreads does. So anyway, that is all of my stats. I think we're going to get into, my next thing, I can't appear yet, is these are all the books that I read that didn't win anything, but I wanted to show them anyway. I reviewed most of these on stream at some point. Most of them, because most of these were part of the to read my TBR with a twist challenge. The only one that 100% wasn't, that I didn't talk about, that I vaguely want to mention, is The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. Because I didn't realize that I was going to be reading repurposed Star Wars fan fiction AU. It's actually Reylo, but Kylo Ren and Rey are working in the publishing industry, and one of them is dead but not dead. It's confusing, and it was really weird. And like the girl's this happens in like literally the first chapter. The girl's dad passes away, so she has to go home to deal with that. But then like her editor, which is Kylo Ren, he shows up like at her doorstep, but he's like a ghost or whatever. So like she's like falling in love for a ghost while also dealing with her father's death, and the dichotomy of it was not very fun to me. It was like, this is really weird. Which one do you want to deal with? The death or that you're horny for a ghost? I don't like it. It was a really strange book. Honestly, it wasn't funny at times, but it was not the best book. I think that's the only one I have anything to say about that I haven't already talked about. And then the manga that I'm actively reading this is just I think I can up here now. Yeah. These are the mangas that I'm actively reading that didn't win any awards. There's lots of manga that I'm actively reading that did win awards. So Ichi the Witch, Villains Are Destined to Die, The Otaku Vampires Love Bite, and The Otaku Love Connection, and I'll Save This Damn Family. And I don't have a ton to say about any of them right now. Ichi the Witch is great. You should read it. It's about witches. And I'll Save This Damn Family changed art styles in its latest season, and it makes me mad. That's it. So my first award is best cover because like let's start with the aesthetic one first. That doesn't mean anything. I'm covering one of the covers. My nominees this year are The West Passage by Jared Pekacek, So This Is Ever After by F.T. Lukens, and it's actually, for me, it's both The Tainted Cup and A Drop of Corruption by Robert Jackson Bennett. I found there's two different covers. The UK one is the yellowy one, and the US one is the silvery one, and I like both of them a lot, so I wanted to share both of them. The West Passage didn't win anything else. Or it wasn't nominated for anything else. It's not the winner. I'm spoiling it now. So I'll mention it briefly. It's a very weird debut novel. It takes place in the palace the size of a city, and the palace is ruled by 5 giant ladies of immense unknowable power, and this palace has been on decline for generations, but nobody really questions it, and one of the guardians dies. One of the big ladies, she dies, and there's no successor. And the weather is broken, and no one really knows how to fix the weather. There's a beast that's bringing terror and doom to the land. So the apprentices are going and trying to like fix all the problems. It's a really weird book. It's written in a really weird way, but it's really cool that I think it's a feat in literature, just not the best plotting, in my opinion. So I'd be very interested in seeing whatever Jared Pekacek writes next. So This Is Ever After is just, so it's another F.T. Lukens book. F.T. Lukens is one of my favorite authors at this point, and it's just, do you remember the show Merlin? It's literally like, what if you were watching Merlin and they committed to making it gay? Basically, a band of adventurers go on a quest to defeat an evil king, and then they win, and now the prince is gonna die if he doesn't have a true love, and his true love is his best friend, but he thinks his friend isn't gay, and there's like communication issues because of it. It's cute. It's a cute little book, and I think the colors in this cover are really nice. Now, Drop of Corruption, I don't even have any notes about Drop of Corruption, probably because it's a sequel. It's a sequel to The Tainted Cup. Is a mystery novel, I'm calling it like biopunk fantasy mystery novel about Anna and Din. It's an Anna and Din mystery. This is the second book I'm going to talk about The Tainted Cup later on, so don't worry. This is the sequel. It takes place it has more to do with the biopunkness of it all, and they won. These ones won. I think both of the US and the UK covers are really beautiful, so I thought that they deserve to win. None of them are the same size. I did not make any of the graphics the same size. Oh well, that's okay. I honestly think the UK covers are really evocative of what is going on in the book, like what they're dealing with, but I think the US covers have better symbolism for what is going on in the book. Like, A Tainted Cup literally starts with the main character finding that a tree has burst out of a man and he is dead now. But yeah, I think these are really pretty, and also I recommend these books, but I'll talk about them later on, so don't worry about it. So my best characters is always it's a fun thing to award, but it was really hard to decide who should even be the nominees. So my first nomination is The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson. This book has a lot of moving parts that I want to sum up very quickly for the sake of keeping this forward. The story takes place in a monarchy that has experienced 24 years of peace, and the current reigning king is going to retire. And in this world, the next monarch is not decided by blood, but by competition. So 7 contenders must compete in a summer festival competition for the crown. So there's lots and lots of characters. The main character, Nima Kra, is the Emperor's High Scholar, and she is not going to be in the competition, but she suddenly is going to be in the competition because the person from her clan, there are 7 clans in this world, and her clan, that person dies the day before the competition's supposed to start. So suddenly she has to, 1, take part of this competition, 2, figure out who killed the person that was supposed to be competing, and 3, not die. I'll talk about this book again later on, but it has a lot of really fun characters. Tamon's B-Side is a manga by Yuki Shiwasu. Tamon's B-Side also just released as Utage Kinoshita is a shy high school student who secretly supports Tamon Fukuhara, a wildly popular member of the idol group Face. To Utage, Tamon is a flawless, radiant idol who gives her the motivation to get through her daily life. And Utage works as a part-time housekeeper, and so one day she's assigned a new client when her coworker gets sick, but to her surprise, her new client is Tamon! And she quickly discovers that behind his perfect public image, he is a deeply insecure, pessimistic, and he has no friends. So as Utage becomes involved in Tamon's private life, she works to support him through his self-doubt and fear of failing his fans, while struggling to reconcile the contrast between his idol persona and his true self. So the B side, it's like his side behind the curtain. His A side is his idol side. His B side is his pathetic, self-hating self. So every single character in this manga is so good. This author really knows how to introduce a character and make you care about them very quickly by giving them their time to shine. At this point in the manga, I'm caught up with everything that's been translated into English anyway. All of the members of Face have had their B-sides, quotation marks, revealed, and they're all extremely endearing. And Talon's B-side is now a currently airing anime, and it has really, really good animation, and you should watch it. Just check it out. I highly recommend it. I watched the first episode aired New Year's Eve, which was exciting because no other winter anime has started yet. So highly recommend it. It's really good. They really put JC staff really put all of their pussies into the animation, and it's so good. Oh my god. Even the 3D animation is good. Anyway, all characters are good. I really love everyone. Tamon is good. Utage is good. All the side characters are good. Love it. And then we have Jack-chan. So Jack-chan is an Otome visual novel that is also a rhythm game because I'll explain. So Kisa is about to give up on her dream of having a career in theater when she is given a surprising opportunity to attend the prestigious all-male Univale drama school where her brother once was like the star pupil. She is granted admission with the following conditions: be chosen as the lead in the final performance of the year, earn the trust of her classmates, and hide her identity as a girl. The competition at the school is fierce and the rivalries are real. Will Kisa be able to forge powerful bonds with her classmates while competing against them? And also, will she be cast in the lead role of the final performance at the end of the year while keeping her secret? So, this game is like a masterclass in character writing. So, it won. It's insane how well all of these characters are written. This game took me 160 hours to complete, and it was 100% worth it. Every single character is given so much time to shine. Kisa, themselves, is given so much time to really develop how they feel as a person. If you are someone who questions your gender and identify as non-binary, you should play this game. It's really fucking good. But more than anything, it's going to take you a long time, so make sure you have enough time to play it. But because I'm just talking about characters here, it is so good. I am in love with every single one of these characters that are on screen right now, and I love all of the, I can appear now. Hi, I'm back now. Every single character is so wonderful and has a real depth to the character. They feel like real people. It's really good. And also, this is written by Ishida Sui. He wrote Tokyo Ghoul. I think he drew and wrote Tokyo Ghoul. So if you like Tokyo Ghoul, you should try it out. That for best characters. So best world building. I have 3 nominees this time. We have Land of the Lustrous by Haruko Ichikawa, One Piece by Eiichiro Oda, and The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett. So Land of the Lustrous is a completed manga series, so I think you should read it. It's not that long. I think it's like 90 chapters. Land of the Lustrous is set in a far distant future where the Earth has been struck 6 times by meteorites, ravaging it in the process. All the remaining land has been reduced to a single coast, and nearly all life was destroyed. So these main characters are like literally immortal humanoids embodied by gemstones, and they're known as the Lustrous. They are literally like humanoid rocks, basically. And there are they have to face these enemies called the Lunarians. They are like people that inhabit the moon that come to land to try to kill the Lustrous people. What was I saying? Oh, it's Land of the Lustrous. Basically, I think it has really good world building because it's all following like the Buddhist structure, the Buddhist mythology structure. I don't know how to put it, like the scripture structure and how like the stories go. But it does it in a very unique way. The art is really beautiful, and the art actually helps with the world building. I think it's really evocative of how the world works, and I just think that I don't know. I haven't seen something based on like the Buddhist tales be told in a way like this ever, and I don't think anything else will uh ever really be written like this. So definitely think it deserves a nomination. One Piece is One Piece. I didn't write anything for One Piece. If you don't know what One Piece is, why are you here? No. One Piece is a story about Luffy who wants to be the king of the pirates, and it's like a 1,000 plus page chapter manga series. It's going to take a lot to get into, but I recommend it. You should. This year, because I can't even do anything. I can't talk today. I knew this was going to be a mess, because this over the past like year, all the chapters that have come out is just world building. It's just been world building and showing us the previous events that happened to give us explanations for why things are in the world, why things are the way they are now, why certain things happen to certain characters. There's still a lot of whys to be answered, but we're getting some explanations, and there's some parts of the plot that are kind of like, oh, I get it now. Everything is kind of falling together now, and a lot of the gaps that we had and how the world work are all falling into place now. So the world building has been that like the entire year, the entire 2025 was just world building basically for One Piece. So it certainly deserved the nomination, and it's still wonderful, and I still really like it. I wanted to throw a nomination for the Tainted Cup though, because this is a very interesting. So the book opens up with a man being murdered via a tree spontaneously exploding out of his body. This world is like really, it's like a biopunk fantasy world that is like, there are leviathans in this world that are described as being like very monstrous, like Attack on Titan monsters. There's like, they have built walls around the city so the monsters can't get in, but it's mostly just, it's interesting to see a fantasy series that is just like, it's not really fantasy. It's like actually science, but it's really low level, like half science, half fantasy science of bioengineered plants and tissues to be used in ways that we could never imagine or even do on Earth, that I thought was really cool. And the sequel expands on that really well. So the winner is One Piece. One Piece 100% deserves the win for best world building, because that's all it's done in 2025. It's been incredibly satisfying. I still love One Piece. It's so good. It's great to read every week. It's great. I am kind of excited to get back to the plot, to move the plot forward, but I'm not at all mad about taking a break to tell us about things that happened in the past, because it's all like extremely important things that we needed to know about, I think. So I'm very happy about that. Now I have to give an award to the worst in world building. Unfortunately, I have 3 nominees here. We have Go Luck Yourself by Sarah Rash, Until We Shatter by Kate Dillon, and The Principle of Moments by Esme Jakimi Pearson. So Go Luck Yourself is the sequel to a book I read last year called The Nightmare Before Christmas. This book stars the eldest prince of Christmas and the prince of Halloween falling in love with each other while navigating toxic parents and a weird forced marriage competition. It was silly and fun, but with this one, it's the second prince of Christmas falling in love with the prince of St. Patrick's Day? And it was really weird because they have to like go through all of the things that you do during St. Patrick's Day in Ireland. But I thought it was really, it's like, so in the first book it's fine because like Christmas and Halloween are like, can be very secular if you want it to be, so like that's fine. Halloween is just is Halloween, like it's not really associated with religion and whatever, but St. Patrick's Day is not. It's like a Catholic holiday, and so it was really hard for me to like turn my brain off while reading this book. Like, okay, that's cool, but why is there like a prince of St. Patrick's Day when this is like a religious holiday? And it's just very stupid, and I don't really like the relationship that these two characters have. It's just not very good. Just not great. Until We Shatter is a young adult novel about, it's like, okay, so the world, we really just need to talk about the world building in these particular novels. The world building basically is that some people have magic and some people don't, and when people with magic have babies with people that don't have magic, you get like a diluted half magic person. And so this magic system it's on the rainbow system. So if you have like red magic, you can control people. If you have green magic, you can heal people. And so if you are diluted, you don't have red, you have like, I don't know, light red or something like that. They act like it's so weird. So they act like people with the diluted magic are less powerful than the people with the full magic, but actually it's that they're more powerful because they can do things, they can use the magic in unexpected ways, but it's not very well described, and it's also treated like we need to eradicate all of the magic people because they're the religious people think they're evil, but they don't matter until the very end, and it's just not very, I don't really understand how this world works. We only really get so siloed into a city, and that's all that the scope of the story needs to be. But there's just there's so much misinformation in the world, and like that's the point of the story, is like how misinformation can harm you and everyone around you. And but it's to the point where I don't even know what's going on in this world. So not very great, in my opinion. It wasn't the worst, but not it deserves this nomination. And the Principle of Moments is just an extremely messy book, and it's like, okay, it's like Star Wars, but also has like ancient magic, and there's like time travel, and also half the book is in space and half the book is in like the 1800s of the UK, and there's just too much going on in the book. And so I don't really know like how anything works. I don't know how the time travel works. I don't know how the space magic works. I don't know how the soul stuff works. I don't know how they're constantly stealing the spaceships. It's just stuff happens and you just have to deal with it, and nothing is particularly explained, and that's okay. It can be okay, but also I think it's a little overwritten at the same time with just like stuff going on. It's just not very good. It does read like someone at 16 wrote this book and then published it, and I think that is actually what happened here. And that can be good, but I think they needed a stronger editor here. So the winner for worst world building is Go Luck Yourself by Sarah Rosh, because it doesn't make any sense and it's stupid. And also, I don't know, it's like, they're trying to like take the Catholicism out of St. Patrick's Day, but in doing so, it sort of broke the plot. It was weird. The Made Me Cry award goes to Jack Cheyenne and Spy Family. I actually just caught up with Spy Family this year, and there is one backstory that made me burst into tears. Actually, I wasn't expecting it at all. However, Jack Cheyenne has such a really intense character work. There is one route in particular in Jack Cheyenne where I'm reading it and I can really relate to this character's story, and he just says one line, and it's just like put like tears just started falling down streaking down my face like crazy. And that was like the moment I was like, oh man, I'm so invested. And I don't cry, like usually I don't have a lot of like nominees for this kind of category because most media does not make me cry, but man, it was so much. So much. And Spy Family too, I wasn't expecting a lot of Spy Family story. So if you don't know what Spy Family is, it's like about there's like a whole it's like a political Spy Family comedy slice of life series about Lloyd Forger, who he's actually a spy, but he is going undercover as like a family man psychiatrist guy. He takes in an orphan named Anya who can read minds, but no one knows she can read minds. He gets a wife who's secretly an assassin, but no one knows she's an assassin. None of that really matters for the part that made me cry. The part that made me cry is a complete side story. It's a complete side backstory of characters that are important to the plot, but they're very much so side characters. And the fact that the author wanted to like tell us a war story, basically, in kind of the reverse. I don't want to give too much away, but it was like a reverse war story is how I really interpreted it, and the effects that it had on the people. And even though it's 100% a story that's been told a lot of times before, the way it was told really got to me, and I cried. I cried while reading it. And I wasn't expecting it because, again, these characters are side characters and they matter to the plot, but not that much to the plot. It's not like I was getting Lloyd, like the main character Lloyd's or yours backstory. It was like a complete side character, but it really got me. But that's okay because it doesn't matter. Jack Cheyenne won. Jack Cheyenne won because it just more than just that one character's route that made me cry. I would tear up in a lot of the routes because every character just gets so much time to shine, and everything they do is so they have so much passion in putting on the musical theater that they're putting on, and also dealing with their life problems. And I don't know, it's just telling a very human story while being a little silly. A lot of, especially, I definitely teared up in Kisa's route at the very end. So I don't know, I really love Jack Cheon. It's an Otome visual novel, by the way. It is not a physical book. My next award is kind of a silly award. It's definitely a silly award. It's called Stupidest Book. Praise. So I mean this in a good way. It was very stupid, but in a fun way. One thing I have is a manhwa webtoon, whatever you want to call it, called Turning the Mad Dog into a Genteel Lord. It's just stupid. It's just about a priestess who has to help this guy, this like war-torn PTSD criminal war hero man. His name is Suresh. He needs to be reintegrated to society, and she has to like basically help him learn how to be a human. And I really thought this would be stupid and I would drop it like 5 chapters in, but it actually ends up being a really nice story about like found family and coming to terms with your trauma and learning how to living a post-trauma life. And it's told in a way that's actually really heartwarming and cute, and I really liked it. It's dumb as hell, but it's also very cute at times. The second one I have is an Otome visual novel. It is actually the sequel to Cupid Parasite. It is Cupid Parasite Sweet and Spicy Darling. And the reason why this is here is because one of the routes involves a guy who wants to turn everyone in the world into a lobster because he is allergic to lobsters. So that's pretty dumb, right? And Talon's B-side is also nominated because the characters are very dumb and pathetic, and they're very cute. I already talked about Talon's B-side, so I'm not going to talk about it too much now, but you should watch the anime. You should watch the anime. Episode 1 is out now. The relationships between many of the characters are great. There's one character named Ori in particular. He is very dumb, but he's extremely endearing. And honestly, they're all very dumb because they are told to act a certain way, but that's not how they really are in real life. And so the conflict that brews between that is very dumb and silly at times, but in a way that's fun, not horrible. So the winner of this is Cupid Parasite Sweet and Spicy Darling, because what the heck kind of a plot point is that with the lobsters? What do you mean you want to turn everyone into lobsters? That is so dumb. Anyway, my next few categories just have a winner. I don't have nominees. So my best new author is a book that I drew from I have a reading project that's extended. It started in January of 2025 and it's extending into at least half of 2026. It's called Read My To Be Read Shelf, with a twist where I have several books on my own shelf that I need to read, but I got a whole bunch of suggestions from various people on the internet, mostly sluglings. I've been reading all those books, and this one is called The Darkness Outside Us by Elliot Schreffer. And this is a sci-fi about children/young adults in space, and I actually think the book really got me. So this book is about 2 boys from the two remaining countries on Earth. They are sent to space on a mission to save the lone person that was sent to Titan, Saturn's moon, after a distress signal is tripped on the Titan, and so people need to go and save this person on Titan if they can. And the person nominated is one of the persons, the main character nominated is the person, they're siblings basically. The person on Titan and the person heading over to Titan to save her they're like brother and sister. So our main character Ambrose, he wakes up on the spaceship without any memory of the spaceship launching into space, and things are a bit weird. The ship's operating system has his mom as a voice bank. It looks like there used to be other people on board the ship, and also Ambrose thought that he was going on a solo mission, but it turns out that there was someone else on the ship, and he doesn't want to talk to Ambrose at all. However, if the 2 passengers aboard the spaceship wanted to survive and figure out how the ship's works and its secrets, they have to work together to learn to take comfort into each other and maybe fall in love. This book kind of had everything I wanted in a sci-fi book. It's like a little mysterious. You don't really know what's going on. It's not quite mixed media, but it is mixed media. I really like mixed media elements in all books ever. I think it's really awesome. I don't know, it just provides a different reading experience than like a typical book would be. I'm sure the audiobook is totally fine to read, but I found that reading it, having like there's like chunks of pages that are like completely blank because of plot purposes, and I just think it's like an artistic choice, and I thought that it was really cool. And altogether, that aside, it's just a very solid story, and I really liked it. And so to me, it's a best new to me author. That's how this category works. And so it's definitely Elliot Schreffer. I do plan to read the sequel to this story because there's a certain aspect of the story that I'm like, okay, that's crazy to find out. I want to know more about that, but that's not within the scope of this book. And so I'm glad to see that there is a sequel to talk about all the other stuff I had questions about. So I'll probably read that at some point next year. It is already next year. This year. And that's that for that. My next category is the most surprising. The most surprising book I read this year was also from my TBR, the TBR jar, where I pull out books that other people have suggested. And this book was suggested to me by Braca Koltusk, who is also a VTuber. This one was also recommended to me by a bookish VTuber. Her name is Sophia Ignosi, if you want to check her out. This one is called The Sapling Cage by Margaret Killjoy. And this is a story about Laurel. They have always dreamed of being a witch, and they're cool. They want to become a witch because witches are cool, and they use magic, and they fight monsters, and they explore the world. And witches are being blamed for this cold plague going around that only affects trees. It like kills trees with like being too cold, I guess. And Laurel still wants to become a witch no matter what. That doesn't bother Laurel. The only problem, the thing that does bother Laurel, is that all witches are women, and Laurel was born a boy. So Laurel disguises herself and takes her best friend's place when the witches come around to claim new witch fledglings, and she begins her journey towards self and world discovery. She makes friends and frenemies. Well, she starts to learn to use magic, and she learns about the greater threats looming over the kingdom, but more than anything, Laurel is super scared that she will get kicked out of the coven if she is discovered that she is, quotation marks, not a real girl, and she wants to learn body transformation magic as soon as possible. This book is awesome. It's like the first time I've read like a trans coming of age fantasy where like it's important that the character is trans. Like I've read many books where the characters are trans, but it's just like that's just an aspect of them, which is also cool. That's just an aspect of who they are, and it doesn't really affect the plot at all, but that's okay. Those books are good too, but this one where it was like really important, and this person has so many thoughts that I'm sure other young trans people have. It's a really valuable book, I think, to read, and I would recommend it to any like trans child I knew. Like it was really good. My next category is a slightly negative category, but it's okay. It is my best did not finish. It's the best book that I dropped. I have 2 nominees for this category. I have Dark Constellations by Paula Aloysiak and How to Become the Dark Lord and Die Trying by Django Wexler. I'm not going to really get into these books too much, but Dark Constellations was a very short book about humanity's quest for knowledge and control, hurtling from 19th century mania for scientific classification to present-day mass surveillance and the next steps in human evolution. It follows 3 point of views, and I dropped this book because it's written in a really, really off-putting, weird way. And I know, like, I read about 30 pages, and in those 30 pages, I learned, like, 10 new ways to say dicks. Like, what the heck was it? It was, like, gyration geyser. Oh my god, no, I just could not deal with the way this book was written. Oh yeah, it was also written extremely flowery way that I just did not like. This was recommended to me by a book recommendation service. I think they thought that I would get a kick out of the weird way this book was written, but it was written in a way that was off-putting weird, not fun weird. So I'm not mad that I put it down. I mean, I'm a little mad I put it down only because it's a translated novel, and I don't get to read a lot of those, and so I thought that it would be nice if I liked it, but I really hated it, so I did not. Gyration Geyser was way too much. And then How to Become the Dark Lord and Die Trying is by Django Wexler was just too I'm 13 and in my edgy phase for me. This is about a woman named Davi who has been reborn as a so-called hero in another world. She has tried to kill the Dark Lord like a million times, but none of them have ever worked, and every time she is killed, she gets sent back to the time where she started her quest, and she has to start all over again. She's fed up through looping through for the gajillionth time, and so she decides, well, if the Dark Lord is going to win every time, then I'll just become the Dark Lord. Surely that will end my time loop. And so we follow her on her quest to become a baddie, abandoning her hero quest, and the way this book is written is worse than Dark Constellations. It did indeed win. I'm very happy that I dropped it. Prize. It's just not good. It's not written in a way that I want to read it. It's so, like, I will read books by men. That's really not an issue for me, but it's like a man, this is such a man author type of book. Like, if I like to hear boobing boobily a lot, then I guess I could handle this book, but it's just too stupid for me. I cannot do it. I know that the little blurb by Fonda Lee says it has unexpected warm-heartedness, but I don't know. I didn't get there. How to Become the Dark Lord and Die Trying was objectively worse than Dark Constellations, so it won. And you might like this book. This book was just 100% not for me. If you do like it, yay! My next category, I have like books that I would recommend to people. Oh yeah, books I'd broadly recommend. So I have two choices. First choice is the book I would broadly recommend to people who play a lot of video games and don't read books. I wrote Twitch Sluglings down, but I mean, it could be anyone. Twitch Sluglings. This book got really buzzy last year, and I think that it's in its full-blown popularity now. The book is described as being lit RPG, or a novel that utilizes video game elements in a story. To some people, this is quite a novel concept, I think. For people that only read books, like, this is not something that others have seen before. But if you've been around the block and you've watched a few anime, you've watched Sword Art Online, like, you know this is just an isekai otherworld sort of story. Honestly, it's not that different than like Soul Leveling or anything like that. But it is in the sense of the humor level, and it's very much so like a Western take on an isekai with video game elements. Carl is just a guy outside in the middle of this snowy night trying to get his ex-girlfriend's cat, Princess Donut, out of the tree, when all of a sudden every single building appears to be crushed into the ground, like straight flattened, and suddenly Carl can hear a voice in his head telling him to head to the dungeon entrance. So he does that with his cat, his cat, Princess Donut, and they start to navigate this trap-filled fantasy dungeon that also happens to be the set of a reality TV show airing across the galaxy. It's goofy, it's weird, it's fun. It'll make you laugh while also cringing. It's totally 100% written by a man, but he's a bit more self-aware than, say, the other book, like How to Become the Dark Lord and Die Trying, I would say. He knows that he's making bad man jokes, I guess. Like, you can tell this guy understands. I read this book physically, and it's sort of fun because it has, like, it really does have, like, the stats, his inventory. It has, like, every time when he casts a spell, it, like, shows it as a spell and things like that. It's kind of mixed media in that sense, and I thought it was really fun. I do want to read the second book, but I just don't have time right now. But I recommend you try it out. Actually, I really do. But I wouldn't recommend this book to just, like, if I were to see, like, I wouldn't recommend it to my grandma. I wouldn't recommend it to, like, a coworker. Well, some of my coworkers I would. But if I don't know you and you ask for, like, what book did you read in 2025 that you would recommend to me, random person on the street, I would say they should read Darkness Outside Us, which I already talked about, so I really won't. I'm not going to, like, reiterate the plot of this book, but I think it's really good. I think it's a very important book. It was nominated for a Stonewall Award for a reason. Yeah, I guess it's telling a story in a way that you don't expect. It's a mystery, but even when you solve the mystery, like, you might know the what and the how, but the why is, like, totally unexpected, and I think you'll have a good time with it. And it's a little bit mixed media, and it's a little bit romance. It's a little bit just survival. Very heartwarming book, and that's probably 100% the book that if you just, like, asked me on the spot what to say, I would say The Darkness Outside of Us before I would say Dungeon Crawler Carl. But I do recommend Dungeon Crawler Carl. It's a fun book. Now, into the big categories. So my most read genres are fantasy, sci-fi, and romance. So we're going to go in backwards order. My best romance of the year, I have two options, and they're both manga. I have Fall in Love, You False Angels, Koko Uzuki. This is a beautiful manga. Like, you don't have to read this manga, but you should just pick it up and flip through the pages because it is drawn so beautifully. It is about Otogi Katsura. She portrays an alter ego at school. She's known as being very angelic at school, but she's actually So the Wikipedia says that she's a callous person. She's not a callous person. She's just actually extremely bold and honest in reality. And she puts on like this angelic like face at school. Her true self ends up being discovered by Toki Ninomai, the he has a similar false persona. It's the guy on the cover. The guy with the long white hair. They have like he's also acts like he's a perfect angel man, but really he's kind of like a rough and tumble. Like he's not a Yankee. He's not like a delinquent, but he has a bit more of like a rough personality, I guess. They compete for dominance while falling in love. My other romance option is Tamon's B-side, which I've already talked about like twice already today. It's really good. It's so much fun. I love it so much. It's just a really fun love story about people that have very human self-esteem issues, and it's also about idols. I love idols so much, but it's really not about idols. Idols is more like the backdrop, and the human relationships between the main characters together are really touching and romantic and cute. And actually the latest volume covers a backstory that is really, really cute and wonderful, and I think a lot of you would relate to it. So I highly recommend this manga, and especially because it won Best Romance. It definitely won Best Romance. The next one you may be more interested in, depending on your reading preferences. I have Best Fantasy. So the Best Fantasy, I have 3 nominees. We have The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson, we have Piranesi by Susanna Clarke, and we have Love at Second Sight by F.T. Lukens. The Raven Scholar I did talk about a bit before. It is a book with a lot of moving parts. It takes place in a kingdom. There are 7 different factions within this kingdom, and they're all ruled by a different animal. Main character, she is part of the Raven clan, obviously, and her name is Nima Kra, and she is the Emperor's High Scholar, actually, and she isn't going to compete in this competition that's going on. So the monarch, the reigning king, he's going to retire, and in this world, the new king is just ruler, is determined by this competition. Nima wasn't going to compete, but she ends up having to because the person that's supposed to compete for her clan is murdered, and so she has to do it instead. So she has to also find out who murdered this person. She has to compete for the crown, and she also has to stay alive herself because, you know, there's a lot going on in the background. Fantastic book. It's long. I actually listened to it on audiobook, and it's a really, really good audiobook. I don't remember who the audiobook narrator's name is, but it's really good. And then we have Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. This is my only book club pick to make the nominee list. Piranesi by Susanna Clarke could have been the book that I would broadly recommend if someone on the street were to just ask me what to read, because this is more or less, it's funky literary fiction. So this book is it's about Piranesi. He lives in a house, and it's not like any other house. The rooms are infinite, its corridors are endless, its walls are lined with like thousands and thousands of statues, and each one is different from the other. And within the labyrinth, it's being waterlogged, like there's an ocean creeping in, and there's thunderstorms that come in. It's not the best place to live, but Piranesi's fine with it. He's like, I have to explore this house. It's my house. But there's also this guy that comes around. He's referred to as the Other. He visits Piranesi at least once a week, and he asks for help with his research into a great and secret knowledge. So Piranesi's trying to figure out this great and secret knowledge while also surviving this weird world that he lives in, and a terrible truth starts to be unraveled. And it's a pretty short novel. It's like maybe 200 pages. It's really well put together. It's really, really good. I recommend that one too. Actually, I recommend all of these. And then Love at Second Sight by F.T. Lukens is 100% not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but I liked it. I have talked about this book several times already this year, but I'm going to talk about it again. This book starts with Cam. He is starting his sophomore year of high school at a brand new school that embraces all walks of life. Humans, werewolves, witches, elementals, you name it, they're there. Well, actually, no, I think the vampires live on their own, but that doesn't matter. Cam is excited because he is finally going to reunite with his best friend, who just happens to be a witch, and he gets to go to school with his crush, the werewolf, Mateo. A big change from his freshman year of high school, which was full of which was full of his overprotective parents controlling him, and he had a lot of loneliness after they kicked his older brother out for mysterious reasons that Cam doesn't know about. Everything seems to be going all right on his first day of school until Cam gets caught in the crossfires as a fight breaks out, and Cam suddenly has a psychic episode where he sees the gruesome murder of a teen girl from the viewpoint of the killer. Now, Cam and his friends embark on finding who the girl is, how to stop the murder, and navigate high school and teenagery relationships along the way. So if you're not into reading books about high school, this isn't going to be about you. If you're not into, like, it's a paranormal type of book. If you're not into paranormal type of fantasy, this probably isn't going to be for you. But if you like B-grade horror, you should read this book. It's really, really fun. It's really silly. The twist of this book was not entirely unexpected, but it was presented in a way that I thought was really fun and fresh for like a younger audience or even an older audience, a you-aged audience. It was super fun, for sure. And I thought it was like, F.G. Lucan's doing their best. They are an author that always likes to include, it's a very inclusive cast. Like, there's all sorts of characters across the spectrum, the LGBT spectrum, and I don't know, it was just really fun. Super fun book. Definitely not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but I think that you would like Pierre and Essie and the Raven Scholar. And so the winner of Best Fantasy is the Raven Scholar, because it's just really great. It's just really great. And yeah, I can't stop thinking about this book. I can't wait for the sequel to come out. Oh my god. My next category is Best Sci-Fi. And so we have one manga. We have Dead Demons, Dead Destruction by Inio Asano, The Darkness Outside Us by Elliot Schreffer, and Binti by Nnedi Okorafor. I read Dead Demon for my TBR project, and I 100% never would have read this, but I actually read it in like 2 days. It's not a super long manga, but reading about the chillest alien invasion ever. Like, it's basically a slice of life manga, but also there are aliens. There are aliens, and they're invading Earth, kinda. There's like a giant UFO sitting over Tokyo, but you still have to go to school? Yeah. So, and like, the main characters just want to play video games, they want to hang out with their friends, they want to worry about going to college, but like, most of what they do is still very influenced by the UFO that's looming over Tokyo, and how the world is trying all to unite to get rid of this UFO, but modern weapons don't do anything to it. The situation is very serious, but because the main characters are middle schoolers at the start of the manga, the alien problem is not a thing for them to solve, and that doesn't stop them from like tracking the aliens' movements on social media and being a part of like the alien, I don't know, trying to solve alien things. But I don't know, it's really good. I like the story a lot, but it's like the most chill sci-fi I've ever read, for sure. My second nomination is The Darkness Outside Us. I just talked about this book. I won't talk about it too much again. I just really liked it. It's super awesome. The way the story is told, it's very fresh. I think, honestly, I said this a second ago, honestly, but the thing that made me like this book the most is that the twist is kind of obvious, but how the twist is handled after the reveal is very fresh. It was very interesting. It was really cool. And the last one is Binti by Nnedi Okorafor. This is a 100-page novella about Binti. She is the first of her people to ever be offered a place at a prestigious university, but to accept the offer, she has to give up her place and her family, and she has to travel through the stars to go to this university. And she's the only one that's ever left from her clan of people, so no one knows her her customs. They don't know how she goes about doing things, so that's just something she has to deal with. And the world that she has entered into quickly becomes a nightmare for her, and that's all I'm going to say. You should read the book. It's only 100 pages. It's an interesting book. It has a very fast conclusion that I didn't totally love, but there's 2 other books in the series that maybe we'll talk more about what happened later on. I don't know. We'll see. But my winner for this category is indeed, unsurprisingly, The Darkness Outside Us by Elliot Schreffer. It's so good. It's so good. You should read it. If you like sci-fi, you should read it. If you don't like sci-fi, you should read it, because it's very soft sci-fi. Is it? Actually, it's not. It's pretty hard sci-fi, because they're in space fixing things with the spaceship, and they have they talk about the science a little bit, but it's just not that serious. like the science part of the fi, the science part of the fiction. My next category is not a traditional novel. It's my best otome or visual novel that I read this year. I read 4. I only read 4 visual novels this year. I read Cupid Parasite, Sweet and Spicy Darling, Busted Fellows 2, Jack Cheyenne, and Hanakare. Hanakare didn't make the cut. It's perfectly fine visual novel, but I think these ones are all better. Cupid Parasite, Sweet and Spicy Darling, however, is a sequel to Cupid Parasite, which is about what if Cupid went to Earth and ran a dating agency and also fell in love with humans and sometimes becomes human depending on the route and other things like that. And it was a very fun, the sequel is fun. There's actually like a new guy, there's a new route, a new love interest to pursue, and I found that quite entertaining. It's not the best. Fan disc is what sequels are called oftentimes, and fan discs aren't quite sequels, they're just extended stories. They're like extended epilogues to the stories that they told in the original game. But it's very lighthearted, it's very silly. I did enjoy it, so I thought that it deserved a nomination. Busted Fellows 2, however, is so good, and it's an actual Otome game sequel. We never get those. The original Busted Fellows takes place in a fictional United States city called New Sieg. It's basically New York. The game opens with our main character, Teuta, witnessing a famous crooked lawyer, Limbo, get shot to death. But luckily for Limbo, Teuta has a special ability to go back into the past. So Teuta is in a position to save Limbo's life. The problem is, however, that when Teuta goes back to the past, she's in somebody else's body. So this leaves Teuta to scramble for clues, information, and anyone that might be able to help her as fast as possible, as her time travel power only works for a short period of time. And then the game begins. You gotta save Limbo or you can't get to any of the other dudes. And so the sequel also, it starts out, it shows you a death at the very beginning, but that particular death is not very important until you get to the end of Busted Fellows 2, but it's a full game. Each of the love interests get a whole nother story. Mostly, for the most part, I thought it was very well written. Each story, the characters get a lot of character growth in the story. It's totally worth it. However, you should play Busted Fellows 1 first before you play Busted Fellows 2. Otherwise, there's a lot of things that happen that will mean nothing to you. Yeah, it was really good for a sequel. Probably the best Otome sequel I have ever played. No, it is. It's the best one I've ever played. Well put together, really good. The art is so good. They have light rigging. It's a good time. And then we have Jack Cheyenne, which I already talked about a couple times now. It's so good. Jack Cheyenne is so good. It's like a musical theater Otome game. It is an Otome visual novel where so you're just like clicking ahead. It's also a stat raiser, so you have to raise your stats to be the best musical theater kid that you can be. It is also a rhythm game because you can't be a musical theater kid without dancing and singing really well, and so you have to do that. And it is a game that takes over the course over a whole year. You're raising your stats the whole time. You're forming relationships with the people that you want to form relationships with. It's so well plotted out. It's so well done. It definitely won in this category. It's like Jack Cheyenne changed my life for the better. It's so good. Everything it has to say is just, it really resonates with me being older and probably out of the main demographic for this game. It still resonates with me. It'll probably resonate with you if you play it. It is a huge time commitment. The game took me about 160 hours to complete, but it was worth every second. It was worth it. It's so good. And all of the music in the game is so good too. It better be because it's a musical theater game, but yeah, so good. Highly recommend it. I actually can recommend all 3 of these, but Jack Cheyenne definitely won for me. And my next category is not, it's not a very nice category, is it? It's most meh book. It's the book that, honestly, I should just call it most disappointing book. Like, this wasn't the worst book, but it also could have been a lot better. My 3 contestants, my 3 nominees, not contestants, in this category are Hamajing Luck by Makana Yamamoto, Until We Shatter by Kate Dillon, and Someone You Can Build a Nest In by John Wiswell. So Hamajing Luck was something I picked for book club, and I thought it would be so good. It's about Edie. Edie has done the crime, and she's been in jail for 8 years, but I think they use they, them pronouns. They have been in jail for 8 years. They're actually supposed to be in jail longer, but they get brought out by the person who sold them out and got them in jail in the first place. And this person is like their childhood friend. Edie is then shipped out of prison. She goes back to Sorry, they go back to their home. I have such an issue because I didn't write them down. I didn't write things correctly. They are shipped off from their icy planet, and they go back to the sky-brewed as the neon catacombs of the Kepler space station. And they are supposed to go back on basically, Edie has been brought out of prison to go on one final heist. It's a very dangerous heist, and it's like stealing things from future Elon Musk, basically. And there's human conflict with like the past life catching up with the current life and all that whatnot. But to be honest, it's a really whatever book. There's a huge cast of characters that we don't get to know a whole lot about. It's a heist, but the heist is not that high stakesy. It doesn't have a lot of stakes. You just kind of know it's gonna work out. There are some interesting characters, but you just don't get to know a lot about them. And the toxic romance between Edie and Angel, the person that got Edie out of jail, was not that appealing to me. I don't know. It's just, I thought this was going to be awesome because I love heists. I love heists in any kind of media, and it just was very whatever. The next book, Until We Shatter, I have talked about this book before. It's about a world where some people have magic and some people don't. When these people have magic with babies, and the magic people have babies with the people that don't have magic. You get half magic, and the half magic people are the main characters of this book. Our main character, Samilla, is a Hugh, so she has to keep her true self secret from most people. She's not supposed to let anyone know that she has cool special powers, but fortunately she has met other people that also have half magical powers, and they're also in hiding, so she's not like without any friends. But when her mother falls ill, Samilla has no choice but to turn into a thief. Eventually she is offered a job that could solve all of her problems, but obviously it is going to be a very dangerous game. This novel is about a heist with magic, meeting a dangerous boy who is working with Samilla, and the price of a big organization's purposefully putting out misinformation into the world. And yeah, again, I didn't like it because the heist was stupid. Well, the heist itself was okay, but the stakes were dumb and really obvious, and was nominated for worst world building because it's like, I felt like I needed to understand how the magic worked more in this world to make the story make sense and make the stakes feel worth it to me. But because they aren't particularly explained, and it's actually more of like a romance story, it's like, ugh, who cares? So yeah, very whatever. It could have been really good, and it just wasn't quite there. And then Someone We Can Build a Nest In by John Wiswell. It was nominated for a Hugo this year, and I read it because of that. It is a sapphic monster love story with a lot of mommy issues. This is a human meets monster story, but the story is told from the perspective of the monster Sheshan. Sheshan is a shapeshiftery ooze creature that is able to take on the semblance of being human by collecting various things from humans, like a bear trap for a mouth, and like dead people's bones for arms, and things like that. One day, Sheshan gets hurt after running away from monsters, but she is saved by a kind human named Homily. It turns out they both like each other, and their relationship progresses as Sheshan continues to pretend to be human and gets more involved with Inhuman's problems, including Homily's. And I don't want to spoil too much about this story, but the first half of this book is so good. It's so good. And it's like a good representation of like how someone might not know how to interpret social situations in a way that most humans would. And it's a really fun story about Sheshan learning how to be human, wanting to be human, but also having her monstery side come out occasionally, and that was so good. But the second half of the book is just about mommy problems. It's all like, throw out any of the cool stuff that was happening. It's mostly just about dealing with Homily's mommy problems, with Sheshan's mommy problems, with everyone's mommy problems. I didn't like it anymore. It stopped being a fun book and started being like writing down. It was like therapy sessions for these characters, and it stopped, like the action when it was still there, but it felt like it was halting because they were just like psychoanalyzing themselves in the second half of the book. It just wasn't very good. The most meh book, unfortunately, does go to Someone You Can Build a Nest In by John Wiswell, and the reason is because the first half of the book was so good and the second half was not at all satisfying. It's not a very long book. You could check it out for yourself. Your mileage may vary. You might like it. You might like the things I didn't like. I think it is conceptually a really cool book. Ultimately, it wasn't that good. But it wasn't the worst, because I have my worst book category. In my worst book category, my nominees are The Ministry of Time by Kalian Bradley, Alien Clay by Adrian Tchaikovsky, and The Demon Tide by Laurie Forrest. I have a lot of feelings about The Ministry of Time. Like, this book was nominated for a Hugo Award, and why was it nominated? Because it's hardly... It was nominated because it has sci-fi elements, has time travel as like its special sci-fi element. But the book thinks it's a spy thriller. It also thinks it's a romance. It thinks it's a workplace comedy. And it's not any of those things. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Your mileage may vary. But I didn't think it was any of those things. Basically, the story is about our main character being offered to work on a top secret government project with a super cushy salary without knowing what she will be doing. Then she finds out she's going to be working as a bridge for someone the British government has plucked out of time and put into 2025. The person that she is going to be a bridge for is a real person in history. He is Commander Graham Gore. He's plucked right from 1845 before he was going to set sail on his doomed trip to the Arctic. I guess he died on a ship to the Arctic. But he's a real dude, and we have, like, information on him. Anyway, now the main character has to teach Commander Gore how to use, like, a cell phone and be less racist and not smoke in the house and things like that. But because this is a time travel story and the government is involved, there's a lot more to the story than just the slice of life adjusting to 2025. And it was just, like, not good. The main character herself will just go at the end of chapters. She just goes on these rants, like these very angry rants about, like, colonization and racism and all these things. And I'm like, yeah, girl, go off, but nothing comes of it. It's just a rant. It kind of felt like the author wanted to write a memoir, but like the memoir was rejected, and so they wrote this, like, weird half sci-fi book that's self-insert historical figure romance. I don't know. And it just, it wasn't good. It just wasn't good. And it has the worst sex scene I've ever read in my entire life. Next, I have Alien Clay by Adrian Tchaikovsky. This is a sci-fi story. It's on a distant planet of Kiln. That's the best part of this book. That the book is called Alien Clay, and they're on a planet called Kiln. I think that's funny. Otherwise, so Kiln is not a great place. It's a slave labor camp that Earth has started to send its undesirables to. The main character is Arten Dogdev. He's one of those undesirables because he was a very outspoken political activist, and he was causing too much of a commotion, so he got sent to the slave labor camp. He wakes up after cryo sleep on the planet and starts working in the labor camp. He starts to learn its ins and outs. He has met up with his old activist buddies. All the while, he is slowly unveiling the mysteries that Kiln holds. The ruins of an alien civilization that no one really knows about, or what the ruins could do to the humans that are currently living there. Like, no one knows anything about it. But stuff definitely happens, but not that often because the book is mostly dialogue. Yeah, I was really, really bored reading this book because the concept is so exciting. It's like, oh my god, they're on an alien planet and there's definitely aliens on this planet, but they, like, can't see them. And how are the planets affecting these people? And isn't that really cool? And it's also trying to be about, you know, political activism and freedom of speech and all that stuff. But instead, people are just mostly talking about what they did on Earth, what they want to do, and they never actually did it. And so when, like, they're like, yeah, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, and the next chapter is like, well, we did that. Like, I don't get to see it in action, and I thought that was really boring. Like, there's one point where they have to, like, they have to make a long walk. They have to go on a long walk, and it ends with them starting the long walk, and then the next chapter is like, well, we're done with that now, we made it home. And it's like, oh, okay, but, like, everything that happened on that walk is extremely important, but they don't really talk about what happened on that walk. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. And The Demon Tide by Laurie Forrest I can't actually say a ton about this book because it's the fourth book in a series. I'll talk about the first book. The first book is called Black Witch, and it's kind of a Huckleberry Finn epic fantasy book about a girl named Ellerin going to magic school and having her world blown open by the people that she thought were the good guys might not be the good guys, and the people she thought are the bad guys are actually pretty okay, and she starts seeing things in a new light, and she grows as a person while making friends along the way. The second book is actually really good too because, like, with the people that she made friends with, she starts, like, taking down the patriarchy and causing political turmoil. The third book is, I can't describe anything that happens in the third book. The third book is really weird. And the fourth book is like, there's all this political power and strife and looming and war is happening. Oh my god, but it doesn't matter because all we care about is writing from every single possible side character's perspective and writing about how every single character is falling in love with someone, and everyone needs to kiss, and everyone needs to have their love story described with like 50-page chapters when I don't really care about any of it, and I just want to see the war starting, but it's not good. That's all I can really say, because I can't like tell you any of the plot points. But the winner is The Ministry of Time by Kayleen Bradley, because that book actively made me angry, and it was very bad. A lot of the writing was just not very good, and the story is very weak, and I don't recommend it at all. You might not hate it. It is a Good Morning America book club. I feel like this book is more for people that don't read sci-fi a lot and want something with a sci-fi element to it, because it's mostly literary fiction with like the fact that one guy is from 1845 or whatever. We're on to Best Novel, however. I have a couple nominees that we will talk about. Yeah, these are my nominees for Best Novel. I have A Drop of Corruption by Robert Jackson Bennett. It is the sequel to The Tainted Cup, and I just think that it adds on to the biopunk fantasy world so well. It has a lot of theming and messaging that ring really true for the political climate that we currently live in this world, about how old people holding on to power for too long, and how power corrupts exponentially. And the biopunk stuff was really cool, and it's expanded really interestingly, and we get more of so it's the Anna and Din story. We get more of Anna's backstory. It's quite interesting. And Din has a lot of character growth as well. It's just a really good book. The Tainted Cup to me reads like the pilot episode. A Drop of Corruption reads like it's the 2-part finale, series finale at the end of a season of a really good detective show. Really love it. Love at Second Sight. I guess I just wanted to nominate it because it was one of the most fun things I read this year. Plot, it is a paranormal fantasy romance, sort of. It's mostly just paranormal fantasy mystery, and I found all the characters really endearing, and I thought the twist was really good, really satisfying. If you liked the movie Hot Fuzz, I think you'll like this book. And you have to probably have to like paranormal fantasy as well, because if you don't like werewolves in the real world, you're not gonna like it. And the last book, of course, is The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson. I adore this book. So it's kind of like a little bit biased because I read this book while I was going on my Mountain Dew journey this year, trying to find all the Mountain Dews, the special Mountain Dews that have come out in 2025. And well, I was listening to it while driving all around my town, and so I have good memories of it as well. But regardless, it did win Best Book of 2025, and I really I can't recommend it enough. If you only like listening to audiobooks, it's an excellent audiobook. It also has a very nice, pretty well-made softcover paperback. Like it only came out in paperback, but it's a really nice quality paperback if you like to read books physically. And I'm sure it's fine on ebook too. But yeah, this book is so good. And to expand a little bit on why I like it, I think the relationships between the characters are super good. All these characters are like, they're kind of older, they're like in their mid-20s, early 30s. They're not super young. It's not a YA. It's definitely like a full adult fantasy novel. The 7 contenders, Nima, the main character, she knows all of them to one capacity or another, so she has like a history with all of them. There's like not very strong, but there's a second chance romance kinda that's really fun and exciting, that is like, it's important to the plot, but it's not the main part of the plot. One of the more contentious characters that I would guess I could say is an anti-hero is like so obviously inspired by Avatar: The Last Airbender characters that it was like, oh my god, is this just Zuko? Oh my god. And yeah, it is Zuko, but it's in a very fun way. A new fun twist. It's not exactly the story of it, but it's a Zuko-like character, and Zuko-like characters are always really endearing to me, so of course I like that. And Nima herself is just so funny. And oh, that's the other thing that I really liked about this book. So there are clans in this world, and and each clan is ruled by a different animal. There's like raven, bear, fox. There's others that I can't remember right now, but they are real gods. They are real gods in this world that can interact with the real world. So it's not just we really revere the raven, we really revere the fox. It's like, no, the raven gods are watching you, and they can help you, and they can interfere with the competition that's going on, and they can help things out. They can help you out. They can give you the upper hand, or they can like whisk themselves away, and you might have had the upper hand and you don't anymore. And it's sort of fun because there is it's one of those books where the narrator of the book is an actual character in the book, but it's done in a really fun way. I think it's just really endearing and fun. If you don't hate talking animals, you'll like this book, because the animals also don't take up too much time in the story. They're there, and they're there to interfere, but they're not going to take over the whole plot, because they are, again, gods that are in a different world, that they can influence the earth, but they can't, or whatever this earth is called. They can influence the world, but they can't directly be in the world. It's very cool. Just really, really well written fantasy. And I highly recommend it. But I have one other thing. Because even though my favorite book of the year, 100%, like my normal, like a novel that you can pick up at the bookstore and read, is The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson. But the best media that I experienced in 2025, it's going to be really hard for anything to beat it, is obviously, because I talk about so much, Jack Cheyenne by Ishida Sui. It's life-changing. It's so good. And I have so much that I want to say about Jack Cheyenne. But I've started to make like a whole, like a script for a video and everything on it, but I'm not ready yet. I have too much to say, I have too much to make, and I need another week to talk about why this is the best game ever and you should play it. It's like, if you don't play Otome visual novels, if you don't like visual novels, you should try this one anyway, because, well, for one, it's also a rhythm game, and it's a stat raiser, so you have like more things to do than just pressing A the whole time. Not much more, honestly, but but yeah, it's super, super good, and it changed my life. It's hard for me to think of something that was as impactful as Jack Cheyenne this year. The music is so wonderful. The art is so interesting, because it's Ishida Sui's art, who, you know, he wrote and the artist for Tokyo Ghoul. And so that's not the kind of art style you'll normally see in a visual novel, much less an Otome visual novel. I don't know, it's just super engaging, it's super interesting, super good. And also, it is a romance, but everyone has like a slow burn romance. And to the point where some people will play this game and like really question whether it is a romance. So it's a romance story, but the romance is not the only thing going on. I would say that the actions that these characters make are like some of the most romantic things I've ever seen in an Otome visual novel. Some people disagree with me, but there's more to romance and love than just kissing each other. But, you know, I think some people disagree with that, but that's fine, whatever. It's like so beautiful. It's such a wonderful game. If you struggle with your gender, I think that you might really get something out of this game, and if you like the music and musical theater, I think you'll really like this game. And if you don't like any of those things, you might not like it, but that's okay. It was my best thing that I read this year, because it was just so moving, so good. So we're at the end now. That's my last award, but I have a quiz for you all. It's quiz time. Were you paying attention? It's the same quiz as last year. What is the most common book cover that I read this year? What color? Were you paying attention? What color of cover did I read the most? I showed every single book I read this year. I just think it's funny to show, since I keep track of it. You should have paid better attention? Oh, well. It's not, my one hint is that it's a different color than last year. Last year, it was blue. It's not blue. It was green. The answer is green. I read 8 green books. So that's that. Anyway, that's my whole spiel.